Is life meaningless? And this is kind of a tricky topic, and it's kind of hard to discuss this topic properly and stuff. Is life worth living? And of course, there's a lot of subjectivity involved in this. So, of course, there's no clear answer to this question. And it also depends on what type of perspective you have on this question, right? Whether or not life is meaningless or something worth having, something worth respecting, and whatever and stuff. And of course, again, it's all a matter of opinion. If you look at it from the perspective of purely atheism and materialism, right? We're just kind of just a bunch of random accidents, right? We weren't put here with any type of specific purpose, right? We were just the byproducts of just random events that are completely meaningless, that weren't inspired by anything. They just there was prehistoric collisions of atoms and other types of things that kind of led us, that kind of built up the circumstances for life to emerge. But it was all it was just chaotic. It was not inspired by anything. It was just completely, ultimately meaningless, right? There was no real reason for life to emerge, right? It's just kind of spontaneous and without any actual type of purpose. And so you can see, this type of this type of perspective, you can see how it would kind of heavily result in like nihilism, right? Nihilism, right? That we're just not, there is no real purpose to us or our existence. It's just we're just random. We're just literally random accidents. Our existence is completely meaningless and worthless. There was nothing, or no one, or nothing, or some type of entity that gave us a clear purpose, right? We just developed for no reason, and this is this type of thinking, this way of thinking, right? Which is why this is what atheism heavily suggests, right? Because atheism, no God, right? If there is no God, that would mean we're just accidents, right? And if we're accidents, we're literally meaningless. We're just creatures of chaos, right? We're not really inspired by anything. We're just we're existing for no reason, right? We just came out into existence for literally no reason. Everything was spontaneous and stuff. And so if that's true, then there is no purpose or meaning. Everything is just meaningless, and our existence is absurd, extremely absurd, right? There's no reason why we should even exist, right? And this is what atheism posits. This is what atheism heavily suggests, right? Because atheism negates the idea of God, right? Atheism, right? The negation, and then theism, God, religion. Atheism it rejects God, and so it heavily takes you towards nihilism, right? A lot of atheists don't really see any type of, they don't see the connection to nihilism, right? It's of course, while then again, a lot of them are ignorant and stuff. They just see atheism as something that liberates us, right? There is no God, so no rule maker, and so you can do whatever you want. The philosophical implications of atheism, right? They're very nihilistic, right? If we weren't put here with a purpose, we're accidents, right? We're just random byproducts of a meaningless. It's kind of hard to term, a meaningless type of development, right? We came into existence for no reason and stuff. And this is what atheism heavily suggests and implies. But to bring it originally back to what I was saying, right? Is life meaningless? Again, it depends on your perspective, right? It seems to be meaningless if you come at this question, right, from the perspective of atheism and materialism and this new rationalist type, new rationalist science, this hyper rationalist way of thinking. Everything there is no supernatural element to our reality. Right? Everything's just mundane and physical, and that's how it is, and you have to just accept that and stuff. There is nothing else to our existence. We're literally just we're just a bunch of atoms, particles, small components that are organized together, but for no reason, really. Right? We're just again, meaningless creatures. Where our existence is completely absurd. Of course, this is like a harsh reality, right? This seems to be true, right? That there is no actual higher purpose to this existence. Everything is just meaningless and empty and stuff. There's just this cold, mundane, physical world and stuff, and that's it. And that's it. There is no higher there is no purpose or divinity or anything like that that we can discover. It's just all physical and mundane and boring and stuff like that, and meaningless. And of course, this could be true, right? And and if this is true, that means life actually is meaningless, right? That's how you would answer that question I originally asked: is life meaningless? If the world is completely physical and mundane, and there is no divinity or any higher purpose laid out for us, then yeah, life is meaningless, right? Not only is it meaningless, it's completely absurd, right? There is no reason why we should even exist. And of course, this could lead to a lot of problems, obviously, if you accept that life is meaningless, right? Life is meaningless, but of course you can say, well, you can create your own meaning and stuff and be happy. Yeah, I know, but it's not the same as having some type of objective purpose given to us, right, by some other higher entity or by some divine source, which just wouldn't be the same. And that's you have to accept that and stuff, right? It's existence. If everything is just physical and mundane, there is no divinity or supernatural elements to this reality, to our world and stuff, then life pretty much is meaningless, right? And then you just have to deal with that.